5 years later. Thank you so, so much. There's so many beautiful filmmakers here because he kept going. Now, 5 years is a long journey. And as all of us know, as creatives and artists, it comes with ups and downs, right? And sometimes when we have downs, we feel alone. Tony, would you be open enough to share with us, your tribe, your village, one of the biggest heartbreaks you've had on this journey over the 5 years as a filmmaker, as a film festival director?
I have so many. We'll give you a long time if I share these, but here's
Just one.
Here's a couple. I just want to share a couple because I think this is important. I could talk about money things forever. It's always hard raising money. You all know if you've raised money for a film, it's really hard. You know, one of my board of directors, Adrian, give it up for Adrian DeSantis back there. Kick butt board member who's really come along this past year and helped us level up. But we have had many opportunities to invite sponsors to come. We got 30% less than we did last year, and we're trying to do bigger and better things this year. So somehow we're doing more with less. You know, creatives make that happen. But I was just kind of heartbroken that some people just didn't even say no. It was like they would dodge or not respond. I showed up to some people's doors at their businesses, you sponsored last year, and I think Bay Area budget cuts and layoffs was one thing, but I think sometimes people have a hard time saying no. I want to hear no. Just tell me no. I want to hear no. Same thing with pitching your projects, right? And you get ghosted. Just tell me no. So that was kind of weird. People that were with us last year that didn't come back this year, but okay, that's something. But last year was one of the biggest kind of eye-opening again, how I missed the point, how we as a festival missed the point. We had an amazing film last year called Being Michelle. Does anybody remember Being Michelle? Tin and May, who produced and directed. Anyone see that film outside of the BraveMaker Film Festival? It's a really cool documentary about Michelle, who's an autistic deaf woman who was incarcerated for 2 years without an interpreter. So just let that sink in. In prison without an interpreter, and she was deaf. So they documented her life, the trauma, and her recovery through art. Beautiful film. 40 people from the deaf community came out over the course of our 4 days to watch that film. And I'll just never forget it. We were in the Century 20, where a lot of your films will be, and somebody through ASL interpreted to me, what other films do you have that are open captions? And my heart sank, because I knew we had maybe 2. And it just was the heartbreaking of saying, we're not including you. We didn't think to care about you. And that was why this year, I know it was tough for some of you filmmakers, we said everything needs to be open captioned. And I still feel like this year we dropped the ball a little bit too, because we were trying to get ASL interpreters. We need them on hand if we're going to have talkbacks for the deaf community. And it's just really hard and expensive, and I feel like we didn't do what I had hoped. So we'll try, keep getting better and make things happen. But that's one thing I just want to keep aware. We need to be an inclusive community.
And thank you for sharing that moment with us. And it's crazy because your mission is about inclusion, diversity, and justice, and how you realized how you are still maybe having blind spots. And I appreciate you sharing that, just because it allows everyone else to see that even as us as actors, artists, writers, we might have blind spots on our journey, but to give yourself grace to continue to grow and continue to go on your journey, because you're still going to make beautiful things. We're glad you didn't give up, because we're here and we're going to have a beautiful time. But also that we're all growing. We're all growing. Okay, now share with us one of your special moments from all these years of doing film festivals. We talked about the heartbreak.
So a lot of special moments, and I see there with people and there's faces in this room. So I'm going to bring some people up.
Okay.
This is going to change courses a little bit from what we thought.
Improv.
But
yes, anding.
I have prided the film festival on the fact that you could meet somebody here that could become a lifelong friend and collaborator. And we're all in this journey of trying to make a career, right, out of our creating, out of our entertaining, out of our writing, directing, producing, acting, whatever. And I want you to right now, just look around this room. Just look around this room. There's a lot of strangers here, people that you don't know. You might just meet somebody that could become a friend. You'll watch them grow. You'll watch their art expand. And so I'm going to bring a few people up that I was lucky enough along the way to meet. And I'll start with Mr. Lodric Collins. Come on up, Lodric. Lodric and I met in he's taking off his fanny pack. I know, I took off mine too. That gets awkward in a director's. Director's chairs are like the most uncomfortable thing. And I always feel like I'm like praying that I don't break it, right? It's like nonstop.
These are good ones though, man.
We met in New York City.
We did.
Did you meet Priscilla, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So bring this up here.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about yourself, because 10 years ago we were in New York. We were at both different spots. You've blown up a lot more than I have, but it's a beautiful thing that you're here today because of that.
And we met at a film festival.
Yeah,
brother.
we did.
Yeah, in New York City
that.
at a film festival. It tells you the power of film festivals.
Yeah.
Which is great that the idea that we meet at a film festival and that I'm here right now at your film festival.
Yep,
You know.
yep.
You know, I mean, this whole industry, it's a grind. It's a grind, and it's not for the lazy. It's not for anyone less than optimistic. You don't get your own film festival in Redwood without optimism. You know, you have to see that brighter picture at the end. And yeah, that's what it's been. It's been a lot of optimism. It's been a lot of downs. It's been a lot of things that I know we can all relate to. But at the end, it's seeing the greater picture and keeping that in mind no matter what, staying focused on, the goal. Yeah. And it brings us here.
He played this role in a short film in New York City called Forgiving Chris Brown, which, listen to that title, Forgiving Chris Brown.
Yeah.
He was not clothed most of the time.
Yeah.
It was a very cool, it was great. You should watch it.
Four hot chicks drug me out to the desert, kidnapped me, tied me up to a broken chair, took off all my clothes. It was the best film I've ever shot. Yeah.
Marquette, who wrote and directed that film,
R.I.P.
has since died. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But I had her on the podcast a year and a half ago, like months before she passed.
Yeah.
And she didn't know that Lodric was going to come on.
That's right.
So we were chatting, Marquette and I were chatting about her. She was teaching film here in Santa Clara, had moved from, was she in New York at one point, but then she was in somewhere.
She was in New York at one point, and she moved here she moved to L.A. around the set, right before I did, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we were chatting, and I said, hey, I have a special guest for you. And Lodric popped on into the podcast,
Yeah.
and we were chatting, and then within months, she was gone. Of just it was a freak, disease thing that took her life.
Yeah, she fought though. We talk about perseverance and being optimistic. I think in times of craziness that she was going through, she was battling cancer, and she battled it like a pro, like with complete optimism. She didn't want anyone around her with anything negative, and she battled it for a long time. Yeah. Yeah, inspiration.
And yeah, again, these stories, I just think it's so cool that you're here, these little moments that we have shared. Yeah. And, I'll brag on Lodric. He played Smokey Robinson, opposite Jennifer Hudson in the Aretha Franklin biopic. Like, how cool is that, watching your trajectory there? And then he's got this major role on the Oval, BET's The Oval. Tyler Perry's The Oval, man.
I'm blessed, man.
You are.
I'm not going to lie. I'm modest about it, but I'm completely blessed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have great people amongst us this weekend. Don't be throwing them your scripts to read it, but you never know. Follow them on social media first, okay?
Yeah.
And again, this is a relational business. So thank you. By the way, he texted me 3 days ago.
Yeah.
That he was available. He's like, hey, I'm still available. You want me? I was like, yeah, dude.
Yes,
come on.
One question before he goes.
Yeah.
What was the moment like when you got the call for the Respect movie and for the Tyler Perry series regular?
I'm not going to be modest with the Tyler thing. I knew at some point the Tyler thing was going to happen because it's based on optimism. You see a goal and you visualize what you want. And I come from a place where I work the secret, the universe, the laws of the universe. I take that to heart. And with Tyler, I also come from a marketing background. I'd laid the seeds. I'd done the emails, postcards. Once I got into the world, I'm one of those people. Once I get into the room, I'm not leaving the room, I'm going to do whatever I can to stay in the room. And it was one of those things I booked. I've been auditioning for him for a while. It was a lot of no's before we got to the one yes, and the one yes was the have and have-nots. And I was like, I'm in the room. I'm not leaving this room. I worked hard to be in this room. And I remember after that, there were no more no's because I got a call like, hey, he likes you on this. He wants to see you for this. Can you come in? It happened. And it's also a testament of do your best job when you're in the room, because I remember the first day on set, he says, "Hey, you know why you're here, right?" I was like, "God?" He was like, "Well, yeah, but because you did a great job, you came in for that one day, and we kept you for another whatever, but you did a great job, and I never got a chance to say it, so this is my chance to say it." I was like, "Oh, cool." You never know, you know? You never know. But as far as respect is concerned, it was scary. It was scary. First, it was terrifying at first because everybody on set played someone who passed away. Smokey Robinson, for respect, Smokey Robinson, not only is still here, but he's someone that I grew up admiring, you know? Smokey Robinson and Lionel, I wrote a play. I admired Smokey Robinson a lot, but I wrote a play I remember in junior high school. It's called, I was going through some issues. Lionel Richie's My Real Daddy. And it included Smokey Robinson. And Smokey Robinson and Lionel Richie would come and scoop me away from this crazy household that I was, yeah, it was crazy. But
have you trademarked that? Is that something that's
I need to, but it's a poor man's trademark because I got the script somewhere. I won an award for it too, by the way. No,
did you?
I did. No, but it was terrifying because you don't want to insult. You don't want someone who you idolize to look at something and say,
I don't stand by his word. I don't stand by what y'all say.
Yeah. But also, you want to represent someone who you respect and admire like that in the best way that you can, And working with Jennifer and Forrest was like a dream. I grew up on watching Forrest Whitaker. I've had another one I've admired. So playing someone you admire and working with someone you admire, it's it's a good thing, but it comes with this. I'd say with the Smokey thing, it was a terrifying thing. Then you do the work and you're like, oh, he's this, he's that. Oh, you play with this. Okay, cool. Then you're like, oh, I feel good about this now. And then you get on set and it's like, wait, I feel weird again. I don't know if I did everything I was supposed to do. Let me figure it out. Yeah, but.
This thing it mentally impacts us in so many ways. I feel the same way this whole week. I was like, I am terrified that this whole thing is going to fall apart, that we're going to disappoint people, that your tickets aren't going to work, and then at the same time, I'm like, this is going to be amazing! People's lives are going to change!
It's a trip. I went out with someone the other day, and a buddy of mine said, oh, she's an actress. She's crazy. I said, she must be a really good actress.
No, literally.
She must be a really good actress because there has to be a little craziness to do.
Well, we do.
Things, acting, directing, producing, whatever. It's art. To be an artist, you got to have a little crazy.
Yeah. Can we give it up for Lodric Collins? Please follow Lodric. Lodric will be on the entertainment panel tomorrow. So you can ask him more questions in connection with all the other people, as well as some of you are pitching. Lodric will be on the pitch panel as well.
Really excited to be here.
Thank you, Lodric.
Really excited to be here. Yeah.
Cool. Give it up for Lodric. Let me invite two more people up here. Let me pass this on. You can go to your fanny pack again. Let me invite at the same time. I'm going to invite Angela and Nicole up to these seats right here. Angela, Harvey, I'm going to start with you. Because in the same way, Angela and I met at the Sundance Film Festival, both as attendees.
First time
attendees, both of us met and have been connected ever since. So tell me the one thing that you remember from Sundance that year, because we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, you know exactly what it is. This is a movie called Pit Stop, which, it was not a perfect movie. But
as none are, right?
That was 10 years ago, and I remember that movie. And I think it was because it was optimistic. It was like the first time, it was a queer movie, and it was like, nobody dies, and it was like, you walked out of it like, that was nice. You're sitting there watching it like, oh my God. But then, it was an achievement in a different way, and that to me was really inspiring to walk away from that huge festival. Like, I think Jobs premiered that year, and I can't remember. There are all the things you think about Sundance for, but that's the movie I remember.
And it got into Sundance.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like at midnight. It might have been one of the midnight screenings, but I remember almost peeing my pants because our whole row Somebody said, did they have a production designer? What is going on with the walls in these scenes? Why is nobody telling them that the light switch and the
Like
wires
every 5 seconds, boom in the shot.
And we just said, but they got into Sundance.
Come on.
So they got into Sundance. So tell your story, make your story. So 10 years, 11 years now, I've known you, and I watched you go to Teen Wolf on MTV, written over 100-ish episodes. Is that right?
Yeah, we did exactly 100 episodes.
Exactly.
We give it
100
up for her.
episodes.
That's so exciting.
Screenwriting, boom. Also, I watched your episode on American Horror Stories, Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary, just last year.
Ryan Murphy. That's huge,
Yes.
y'all. That is huge. Okay, so, yeah, you saw it?
You saw it? Oh, thank you.
So we're going to be talking to Angela tomorrow and along the way about her journey as a writer, and Nicole, who's going to get here too. They're picketing. They're not being paid as many screenwriters are, and then the actors are getting ready to strike too. So this is a very wild time in our industry. Nicole and I think we met on Twitter. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe that is how we met. Because it was when I started posting about the book.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about, she's an author as well as a screenwriter, showrunner, producer, director, and all the things.
Yes. That's what happens when your mentor bullies you into writing something. I wrote a book called The Writer's Room Survival Guide, and I wrote it for people who hopefully will not make all the same mistakes that we all made when we started in this business. And got some of my friends to anonymously share their tips and traumas as well. So hopefully it gives everybody a good starting point for this ridiculous business that we're in.
How many of you in this room want to write for television? See yourself as an episodic screenwriter in some way? Raise your hands. Okay, cool. You're going to meet someone else later who's going to be facilitating a workshop on screenwriting. Nicole will also be giving her book away to some of the winners of the pitch contest on Saturday, which will be awarded here on Sunday. But real quick, can you talk about, for you, both of you, you said yes to coming here, I think before the strike.
Yep.
So did you regret that, knowing that you had to leave? Was it, is this like a respite? Give us your state. How are you feeling right now, just where you've been on the picket line for 3 months?
You know, it's an interesting thing because I will say, like, this week, I definitely had a little, like, kvetch moment because it was like, oh, if the actors go, though, everything's about to be crazy, and I'm going to leave. Like, that's... But I'm also a captain, and so, like, one of the things I keep telling my team is we all still have lives to live. And so if you had a vacation planned, if you're supposed to go visit your family, whatever it is, like, do it because we're still human beings who, like, we're taking a stand and fighting for ourselves, but we also still get to live our lives. So I was like, okay, like, it's gonna, I feel like I'm still doing the work because we're here helping this generation of awesome filmmakers take another step. So I'm still doing the good stuff.
You are, and thank you. And both of them are forces to be reckoned with on the line. I see the postings. I see the tweets and all the things you're putting out there, so thank you. Angela, what about you?
Oh, I was really looking forward to it. I was grateful for the opportunity to, like, look up a little bit because then, like Lodric was saying, it's like the hustle, the optimism that comes with the hustle, and you tend to get very tunnel vision focused, and that's been my last few years, is just trying to get that created by credit, and I've just been looking at it, and I ended up teaching a little screenwriting class at Antioch University during the strike, and it was like so wonderful to be around these other writers, poets, creative nonfiction writers. It was like, oh, right, I'm an indie filmmaker at heart. I forgot. Let me look out. There's still a world out there where I'm trying to focus on this one thing. So I'm excited to be here and, like, just open up.
We are excited to have you guys.
Thank
A question for all three of you guys. You guys are pouring into other people so much as I listen to all you guys' story. So how do you guys fill up your own cups? Like, what do you guys do for fun or whatever that just fills you up so that you could be ready to pour into others? Because it is a heavy time with the strikes going on.
We both have dogs.
We both have dogs. Mine's here because I just was on travel with her last week. without her, so I couldn't leave her again this week.
Yeah, travel is huge. Travel is I'm always looking forward to the next trip.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, I would say my biggest thing is I am the world's greatest aunt. It is the most important job I will ever have. And I have my little ones. I have 3 adult ones, and my little ones are almost 8 to 3 months. So every time I'm on travel, pretty much, it's to go see one of them or to go see someone in my family. And it always reminds me why I worked so hard to claim my space in the world, because my hope is it won't be so hard for them.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's always like a nice reminder of like, yep, this is why you went through all that. This is why you're picketing in 95-degree heat. So that, you know, they hopefully won't have to if they want to follow me into this craziness.
Thank you, Auntie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Auntie Nicole Cookies.
Nicole Cookies.
Nicole Cookies, Niceole, this unique spelling.
Nice Ole.
Nice
That's how you
Ole.
learned how
I
to
never-
spell it.
Follow and share, and then we have Nations Film on Twitter and Insta, right?
No, I left Twitter.
Oh, you
It's
did?
over.
Okay, yeah, it's over. She said it's dead. It's dead.
We're
I
all
know.
one day from leaving Twitter. Every
Yeah.
day I'm like, is
Frickin'
today the
A.
day?
Can people stop ruining good things?
I know.
Gosh, I'm going to Tahoe in like 2 weeks, and I'm gonna like sleep hopefully for a week with my family and play
Nice.
bocce ball at the beach. That's what's gonna give me life.
Good.
It is a lot to give, but we know we want to. We have to. It's like you can't not do this work. So thank you for being here. They, along with the rest of the people you're gonna meet here in Lodric, they're here, you know, and they will get out of the way and get to the hotel when they need to make space. So, but if you see them around, introduce yourself gently. Buy them a coffee or a tea or something like that. Again, we are in this together, y'all. We're all human beings. Remember to treat each other with that humanity, never objectifying each other or thinking. Here's the other thing. Manage your expectations. You might not be discovered here. You might not get distribution. You probably won't get distribution here for your feature film, but you might find some people who just will love you and encourage you and root you on and follow you along your journey and then invite you back in 10 years and say, I met you at the BraveMaker Film Festival. Remember when you just had that film? That's what I hope for. So can you give it up for Nicole and for Angela? Thank you both.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else before I bring more people up?
For you?
Yeah.
I mean, I can.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, jumping back into you.
Yeah.
We talked about your past. What do you dream for BraveMaker?
Okay.
What is your dream?
I want to create more jobs for everybody. I really do. Like I'm trying. I spend a lot of my time trying to get the money to put this on. Not my favorite thing to do, but I can do it and I will do it. I want to put money in filmmakers' pockets. I want to make movies. I mean, let's be too transparent too. I started the podcast. This is our 200th episode, by the way, of our podcast. 200 episodes. I mean, like 300 people listen to it and watch it. That's fine.
Still,
And we get no
we're
money. We have no
here.
sponsors yet.
But if
it's-
you want to sponsor,
that's right,
please
that's
call
right.
us.
My mom does, actually. My mom gives me, honestly, she does. So thank
out
you,
to
Mom.
Mom.
Thank you, Robin. She turned 70 on Friday. Happy birthday, Robin. We have 31 people who give a donation, anywhere from $300 a month. You ready for this? For $250, and that's my mom. $250 a month. So she gets a shout out on this dang thing. So 31 people support this podcast. I like to raise money. I want to make my own movies, obviously, but I also want to create a production company. We started a BraveMaker Academy to teach actors by making films. So I just am dreaming hella big, like you were saying, like optimistic. Let's manifest it. Let's make what Sundance is in Park City, BraveMaker to Redwood City. Like that's what I want to do. Bigger room next year, more people, more films. Maybe once the studios give you all what you deserve, having some studio premieres and some bigger films that will draw people. People keep saying this, and I'm really fighting it. We don't do awards at BraveMaker outside of the grants for the pictures, and here's why. Every time I've been to a film festival, I'm like, I got in, woo! And then it's like, are you going to be nominated? Oh, I got nominated! Are you going to win? Oh my gosh, I didn't win. You know, all that pressure and stress and tension. I was like, I want to just wipe that away and say, hang out, enjoy, celebrate your film. You got in a film festival. But I keep having people say, if you want to really be legit, IMBD qualified, and get an Academy acknowledgement someday, you got to do awards. And so, I don't know. Maybe someday we will. But right now, I just want to keep creating opportunities for people to make films and celebrate films. That's the goal, with millions of dollars shuffled into your pockets. And my pocket.
I love that. Love that. Before we ask the next guest,
Yep.
does anyone in the audience have a question for Tony?
Oh. Or about the film festival.
Or about the film festival? I want to give you guys
Yeah,
an
bring it up.
opportunity.
Daquan, why don't you rove that around? And let me say this. If you're here, hopefully you got the program. Make sure you just see films. Hang out with people. Go to workshops. If you are a filmmaker, you are welcome to bring your poster and hang it up on the wall. And if you have a poster with an easel, bring it to the red carpet tonight, 7 p.m. We're having interviews and some press in the square before we show Growing Up in America and Into the Spotlight, which is such a heartfelt, amazing movie. This city has been so good to BraveMaker. So we are going to be under the stars tonight in the square. It's a really, really cool time. So 7 p.m., filmmakers, everybody's invited to that. I see Nicole with a microphone.
Wait, before you speak, introduce your name, why you're here, and then ask your question.
All right. My name is Nicole DeMonesis. I'm a Bay Area filmmaker. I have a film in the festival called Queer Science. It's about tiny lesbians. If you want a
Great title, by the way.
I have them in the back. My question is for Tony, because I did get to see Last Chance Charlene at CineQuest. And,
Nice.
you know, it's been Tony's been very transparent about the journey of this film. I'd love to hear how the film is doing in terms of distribution now that it's out in the world. You know, I'm on that slow train for distribution for my first film. So, filmmaker for filmmaker, just want to hear how you're doing, Tony.
Okay.
Great question.
Yeah,
Great
Are you coming at
question.
6 o'clock? I'm going to do a workshop today, and I'm going to tell you how much I made, because no joke, I just got the distribution report. When was it? Adrian, did you read the distribution report? On Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm going to share. I'm going to put it on the screen. You're going to see my distribution report, and we'll talk about it. It's interesting. It's not easy to be a filmmaker. We busted our butt. We made a feature film. I'm super proud of it. We won the audience award at CineQuest, got distribution at CineQuest. But it's not always encouraging, you know, to be honest. And I'll be super transparent. I'm going to put it on the screen. I told you. So come at 6 o'clock.
Do you have a favorite festival moment through the journey of the film?
I'm super proud of the cast. Priscilla was in it. By the way, Priscilla auditioned for one role, and I thought she was so great, but I cast somebody else because it was a better fit. And I said, I can't not let this person be in my film. So I took a role that wasn't supposed to be even having lines, and I bumped it up and rewrote it just for her. So she has this really cool scene in Last Chance Charlene. Ever since, we've been connected and doing stuff and making stuff. So that's definitely a special moment, is all the people that we created with, and we really created something that, again, I'm proud of it. You're going to meet, by the way, are Kim and Alana here? Kim and Alana. I did a film about grief and lost to suicide because I lost my grandmother in that way. And I met these amazing grief specialists here in Redwood City that helped me create a book, a PDF, basically workbook, to watch the film and then process grief at any level.
Nice.
And that was a really special thing too, just seeing the power of film to make conversation and to help people heal. And so they're going to do the 5 p.m. workshop called Bringing Your Whole Self to the Creative Process. I also have Katie and Lori. Where are you, Katie and Lori? Can you stand up, Katie and Lori? Give them a round of applause. And Daquan, can you give them the mic? Katie and Lori, I invited them to come real quick. I know I'm putting you on the spot. These two are counselors, therapists with One Life Counseling Center here in the Bay. And I said, again, I care about filmmakers' mental health because mine is always challenged. It's hard. I am burning and grinding and tired and rejection and money all the time. And I said, could we get you to come and hang out and maybe make yourself available if someone maybe had a half an hour to do a free consult? I don't know. Would you introduce yourself and say what you might be doing over these 4 days?
Hi everyone. I'm Lori and this is Katie. And we're part of a nonprofit called One Life Center. And we have offices here in Redwood City. Next town over is San Carlos. A few towns up, if you're not from this area, there's one in Burlingame, and then in San Francisco. I'm sure even if you're not from this area, you know where that is. So we have about 150 therapists, and we have interns, and kind of similar to what Tony does, but we do it on the therapy level. We train therapists to become therapists. We do workshops and trainings. We want to be a community of people that are supporting our community. During the pandemic, our founder, her name is Susie Hughes, she provided food. She went to the local restaurants and stores like Trader Joe's and got them to donate food to people who were struggling during the pandemic that lost their jobs. So that became, therapists were lining up trunks and putting food into people's trunks, and that's continued even now that the pandemic has subsided to some degree. So we're really proud of what One Life has done, and Susie has partnered with Tony on so many different things. And we as therapists, I like to think that, we're not quite as like you guys in terms of creativity, making something into something visual. It's obviously more private and internal. But people ask me all the time, like, what do you do to decompress from dealing with all the heavy things you do? And guess what it is? It's watching all the work that you people do. And why? Why do movies and shows, why does it help you so much? And it's like, you all put so much creative effort into it. It takes me away from all the heaviness that I have to deal with, and I'm transported into the world that you create. And for that, I am so eternally grateful. It is amazing that you're doing therapy for therapists in a lot of ways. So thank you very much. And and so also I met Adrienne earlier, and we're doing our fundraiser that's in September, and I gave her a stack of flyers, and I'll leave some here, and it gives you can do the QR code and scan and find out more about One Life. But we have therapists that will meet virtually, so even if you're not from this area, if you're in California, we have therapists that you can use through our agency. And again, I just want to thank you in your creative process. And someone had said earlier, like, you have to be a little bit crazy to be a filmmaker. And, there's a fine line between creativity and madness. And I'm so excited that all of you have that and are using it for good and for helping people like me escape from, I don't have that creative talent that all of you do. And I'm so grateful that you guys do and help people like me and Katie escape. Is there anything you want to add, Katie?
Yeah, when I walked in, the thing that spoke to me was you are the story. And I feel that with mental health journeys, finding something that brings your story to make sense in this world is really the kind of the goal. How do you make something that happened that was so negative, how do you turn it into a positive? And that's through telling your story and telling other people your story. And that is so important, to make that story be a strength in your life. And that's what spoke to me when I walked in.
Thank you, both of you. So please introduce yourself to them. They'll be around this afternoon. Look up One Life on Insta and on the socials. And, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow or this weekend, but maybe in the future you could utilize their service. They have a lot of availability online as well, as do Kim and Alana. So Katie and Lori, thank you so much. Last thing, go ahead.
Just so you know, we do offer pro bono and sliding scale opportunities.
Thank you.
So it's not, we want to make, we don't want to make any, there should be no barrier to access to mental health support.
Great.
That's our mission.
All right, I'm going to invite up Tristan and Zimran. Come on up, Tristan and Zimran. Speaking of stories, we have more people that are going to be sitting on panels and talking about the entertainment industry. I'm going to have Tristan, who is with Roadmap Writers, start. Welcome, Tristan.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Tristan and I have been talking for a few months now, actually.
Absolutely.
We did a webinar together about a month ago, and I know somebody's coming from San Francisco who was on that webinar.
Yes, for sure.
Gwen?
Hopefully more. Hopefully more than just one person.
Let's guarantee that. Can you guarantee that?
Give me like an hour.
Okay.
Let me send some text. I can make a guarantee.
Tristan is doing a few things, but first introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Tristan J. Schuler. I am a TV writer, former actor in the New York theater scene, now living out here doing the TV writing thing, and I work for a company called Roadmap Writers, which in short, we are an online educational platform for emerging screenwriters who are matchmaking emerging writers with potential literary representation and potential development partners and execs. Right now, that's a no, but literary representation we are connecting with. So we kind of day in and day out are constantly reading and accessing new writers and workshopping the new material, giving them the tools and the access to jump into their careers full throttle and meet representation, get out there, get on the game, and get their stuff happening.
Tristan will be meeting with our pitchers tomorrow morning
I'm
here
so
to
excited.
do some prep, and then on Saturday morning, Tristan and 3 other screenwriters who are all working.
Yes.
They're not working now, but they have worked in the past. They will be doing a panel discussion in here. So make sure you're looking into your program. If you have a VIP pass, which all of you do, you can register for those on the links that are all provided on your badge. Anything you want to say about that? What to expect?
No, I think it's going to be a really fun time. Saturday morning, I think 10 or 10:45. 10:45. Thank you. I'll be here at 10 and 10:30. That's why. Y'all will be here at 10:45. Some great writers, directors, multi-hyphenates. We have a director of development who's also a screenwriter who we helped land representation. You know, we are big fans, as we are at BraveMaker, of people who do a lot of things successfully and passionately. So we have a lot of multi-hyphenates coming in. We're going to talk about their journeys, talk about their process through roadmap writers, talk about their process and relationships with their representation or not with their representation, and just how they build relationships in this business, because the general theme so far is like optimism and relationships. And I'm really loving that. I'm like eating it up with a spoon. So one of our biggest mantras we always say at Roadmap is we're humans first, we're writers second. We're always humans first before we are any of our other professional titles. So you'll hear about their journeys on Saturday, and we'll take Q&As and we'll have a good time.
We're excited.
One of the reasons why I started this podcast was it felt like everybody has a podcast, so why not? Why shouldn't I have a podcast?
Why not?
But I also wanted to meet people and talk to people and have these connections and really go, okay, I get an hour of somebody's time that I can meet on Twitter or internet, and
it's invaluable.
It really is.
It's invaluable.
And then all of a sudden you're at a film festival together, and then who knows? I mean, I want to make movies, so I just keep making that out. Make it known. I want to produce. You want to act, right? All those things. And then if you feel like after time you trust and believe that this person could actually be a good partner, it could happen. So these are really integral in our career, I believe. Zimran, I also met on Twitter. You had a multi-hyphenate kind of assistant and kind of coming up the ranks. And tell a little bit about yourself. You'll be on the panel tomorrow, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so you know, my parents are here. I live in Fremont. So
look at proud mom and dad. Yes.
I grew up in Fremont, California, with dreams of filmmaking, and I was in love with films when I lived out here. I worked as a showrunner's assistant on The Punisher and a showrunner's assistant on October Faction, both on Netflix. Before that, I worked at Gaumont in finance, so I worked on Narcos, Hannibal, Hemlock Grove, F is for Family. And before that, I was an independent filmmaker, and that's kind of what I'm doing now. I had a pilot produced last year, and now I'm on the picket line playing more internet chess than I should be.
I got to hang out with Zim at, was it Paramount?
It was at Universal.
Universal, yeah.
Universal, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been to LA like twice during the strike, and it's so cool. Every time I get to go, I'm like, I got to be on picket line. I'm not WGA yet, but I want to be, and so I want to fight and strike all with you, because that's what we need to do. So thank you for being here, being on the panel tomorrow, and Zim will also probably be at the student filmmaking workshop at the library. All of our guests, I basically said, like, here's a couple of things I think you're going to do, but along the way I might say, can you do this? Can you do that? And most of them, all of them have said yes, and I love that. So thank you. Can you give it up for Zim and Tristan? All right, we're almost done because it's going to be time to take a 2-hour break and then do our photo shoot. You two can go back to your seats. Thank you so much.
Question
what you
before.
Got? What?
So I loved your question, because I think as artists and filmmakers, we have expectations, right? If we book this one role, if I just work with this one director, he's gonna take me to the top with him. If my film gets distribution, I'm gonna buy my mama a house. You know what I mean? We have all these expectations, and when they don't come true, it affects us. And I know for my mental health, that's been an experience for sure. So for you, Tony, what is your I've made it moment for you? Like, it's all subjective, right? Because we all have it differently. But for you, what is that?
First of all, I don't own a house, and Priscilla does. So, yeah, in the Bay Area. Give it up for Priscilla. I always like, this girl has made, give me the, come on.
Oh, sorry.
But she's always said, anytime you want to use my house, Tony, and we have film there. So I always tell my wife, my money's going into filmmaking. I know, honey, it's so hard. How have I made? I don't know if I have made it. I definitely tell myself I am living the dream. I really love my work, and I try not to think like I'm gonna make it someday, like because maybe making it means selling a show. Or,
what does it mean for you, though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, what is your
like I think I made a feature film. I'm really proud of it. That was a box I really wanted to check. That my insecurity along the way told me I couldn't, and I have written 4 or 5 feature films, and it was the 6th feature film was the one that I actually made. So I thought, oh, I'll make number 1. Yeah, I'll make number 2. Okay, number 3, I start fundraising in 2019, the beginning of 2020, and then that goes away. And then I wrote something totally different in the pandemic that we made. So that feels really, really great. I don't know if I've made it in the eyes of I'm not working as a screenwriter or actor or director full time. I honestly have 4 paychecks that come in every month. I consult,
Grateful.
and I have 2 other social media jobs, and I work with an organization that does entrepreneurial stuff. That's how I make ends meet. But this is like so heart fulfilling for me, like really soul filling. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. I want to break down just a couple things before we do our photo shoot. So what's going to happen next? Where's Erin Ashford? Is she in the room? Erin Ashford is a good friend of mine. I met her and her wife here years ago. They used to have a studio down the street. Again, I was just going door to door. Sometimes I'll do that. Like, hey, anybody want to partner with me? Anybody want to donate free food to our filmmakers? I walked by this amazing studio, and I see Erin Ashford Photography. I was like, ooh, I need some headshots. And we partnered. She has shot me so many times for free, done my family's Christmas card. And then when we started BraveMaker, I said, can you do like, I read Variety, I read Hollywood Reporter, I see those Sundance, photo shoot sessions at Tribeca. I was like, I want something like that for BraveMaker filmmakers and VIPs and teams. So from 3 to 5, free time, go walk around Redwood City, go get some coffee, but then 5 minutes you'll sign up and you'll just go in front of Erin's camera, and she's going to give you a really cool shot that you can take home and put on all your socials as a gift from us to you. And I already got mine done, so I felt really great. I'm like, I'm ready. I got photographed by Erin Ashford, my 3rd in-person film festival in a row because we had 2 online. After that, we are doing the 5 p.m., all optional. Come back at 5 p.m. for the Bringing Your Whole Self to the Creative Process, a mental health discussion on creativity. At 6 p.m., I'll be talking about feature filmmaking. And where's Mike? Mike, stand up. Mike Huff, stand up. He's our feature filmmaker of Punk Kids.
Woo!
Premiere tomorrow. Wait. Friday night and Saturday. What day is today? Friday and Saturday. So, Mike, I want you to talk with me and anybody else who's made a feature film. I want to have a conversation about how the hell do you make a feature film? That's what we'll do from 6 to 7. At 7 o'clock, again, break. This is all optional. There will be some red carpet interviews and press by Miss Priscilla Lamb in the Courthouse Square, which is right directly across the street. So this big pink step and repeat will be over there. And we've got a couple press cameras coming to interview you, talk to you from 7 to 8. Then 8 o'clock, pull up a chair and watch Growing Up in America and Into the Spotlight. That's our opening night selection. And then the party happens here at 9:30. Heavy appetizers and drinks if you are 21 and older. If you're not 21, there's water and ginger ale for you in this building. And please help us not get blacklisted by the city or by the cops so you don't drink if you're not 21. Okay, I trust you all will be those good humans to keep us in business. Tomorrow, all the information you need is in here, but I just want to highlight really quickly, okay? If you are a badge wearer, you are in this space anytime you want. If there's workshops happening, just be quiet and move by. This behind me is called our green room or VIP lounge. There is a stocked refrigerator and cabinet space for snacks and a bathroom and some cool couches. You can hang out there, lounge, put your feet up for 5 minutes. Don't take your shoes or socks off. That was a joke. Really don't. We don't want sticky feet. It does get hot in here. We don't have air conditioning, and that's apologies. Because we just didn't have the budget to do that. We do have fans, so it does get hot. It's going to be 80 degrees on Saturday and Sunday, which I know Sacramento and LA people, that's nothing, but it will get a little warm in here. But tomorrow morning we'll have coffee and pastries in here for all of you. Help yourself from 9:30 to 11. Pitch people will meet with Tristan at 10 o'clock. That's a small group of 6 of you. And then we have a catered lunch and short films. Do we have any of our short filmmakers for tomorrow's session here? Finding Ubuntu, Developing Our Future, no, Barefoot Empress. 3 great short films with a catered Indian lunch from Casa, which turn over your program on the back, okay? 3 restaurants got their discounts in time. Casa is one of my favorite Indian restaurants. Anamika is the owner. She's giving away some free chutney and samosa. Hella Mediterranean's giving 10% off. Vaughn's Chicken is giving 10% off. But Café La Tartine didn't get it in before printing. They're giving 15% off. That's right across from Century 20. And that's coffee, amazing, amazing desserts, cafe type of food, okay? This should all be on the Instagram page, too. How many of you are following at BraveMaker Film Festival? Please do. We have a lot of communication on there of things that are happening. And then tomorrow we don't have multiple venues. Kind of like go from one thing to the next, which is kind of nice, okay? So after CZI with the short films about justice, we go across the street to our entertainment panel at 3 o'clock with all those amazing guests that I just introduced. And then we're going to go to Century 20. And Punk Kids will premiere tomorrow with The Worst She Could Say Is No, Roadkill Jamboree, and our Late Night Brave Faves. How many of you are here from our Late Night Brave section? I know I saw Abby and Emily. Are you in here? Late Night Brave Faves short films? No? Okay, cool. Lots of cool films. I know Ray is here. Where's Ray?
Abby
Ray, give it up. Say the name of your film in Spanish, Ray. It's called Manhunt in English. What's it called in Spanish? La Cionagua. Say it with me. La Cionagua. Did I say it right? Yes. Yes. And it is a perfect selection for the late night section, y'all. If you like to be scared, you like some jump thrills, you like that spooky stuff, that's Late Night Brave Faves for you. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. Any questions? And then we're going to wrap it up and move on into our photo shoot and break. Anybody? Yeah, Daquan.
So it's actually a quick statement, but it's something that I want you guys to walk away with. And it's kind of like what Tony says. It's like you are the story, but in West African terms, you guys are all griots. And that's a West African term. Basically, are traveling poets, musicians, writers, and storytellers. And you guys all carry a history of a people. And so I hope that when you guys walk away from here, you carry the story of BraveMaker, what we're about, and your part in all of this. Because without you guys, none of this is possible. So we want to thank you guys.
Give it up for that word. Wesley said West African. Thank you, Daquan. Daquan's one of our team members. We can't go without saying thank you. Can we give it up for Penn Media, our live broadcast team? This was all live on YouTube, so you can rewatch yourself on YouTube if you were on. Can you give it up for our Strathie broadcast team as well? They're in the back, and they're going to be with us all 4 days. Give it up for Strathies and their team. Give it up for Guerrilla Wanderers. Can you make yourself known, Guerrilla Wanderers? All weekend long, they are filming you, and every single ticket, as well as every single venue, says consent to record, so that we can, get your unfiltered. I guess did we push that consent on you? I don't know, but we want you to know that we'll hopefully be celebrating you and your films. Also, can I say thank you to my team, the BraveMaker team? Where are you? Wave your hand if you're a BraveMaker team member. So many people have worked to bring this to fruition. Please post and tag BraveMaker Film Fest, hashtag BraveMaker. Redwood City is ready to receive you. You will make some good friends, I hope. And let me finally say, if anyone ever feels unsafe in any way, shape, or form, or uncomfortable with anyone's treatment, there's no toleration of any kind of aggression or homophobia, racism, sexism. Please bring it to our attention. We want you to be safe and brave in these spaces, okay? Thank you for being here. Brave stories change the world, and you are the story. All right, everybody, get your photo from 3 to 5. Hang out in Redwood City, and we'll see you back when you want to come back. Thanks, everybody.